Hey, First UMC family, Pastor Mary Beth here. So I want to share with you that back at the beginning of June, your church leadership and staff were strategizing for how and when we could come together for the purpose of in-person worship. And we were looking at the beginning of August as being a time when all who wanted would be invited to come and be together in person for worship. It was not long after that in a meeting with all of the United Methodist pastors of the North Central District, Bishop Mike McKee gave permission for United Methodist churches in Collin County to begin worshiping in person in the middle of July. Well, it wasn't long after that things began to change significantly as the rate of infection and hospitalization began to climb dramatically in Collin County. And you probably know that this afternoon, Governor Greg Abbott issued an executive order mandating the wearing of masks in public places by all persons over the age of 10 in counties with positive COVID-19 cases of 20 persons or more. Now, religious communities are exempt from this executive order, but it doesn't look good for us to not follow the same rules as everyone else. And Jesus said that the greatest commandments are love God with your heart and soul and mind and strength, and the second is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. We don't want to harm anyone. Do no harm is at the heart of who we are as United Methodists. And one of the greatest ways we can love our neighbor is to make sure that we don't harm our neighbor and that we do things that work for the health and well-being of our neighbor. So this evening, Thursday evening, the executive team made the decision to postpone any plan for returning to in-person worship for the time being. We're going to watch the rate of hospitalizations in Collin County very closely, praying that those numbers will go down as more persons choose to wear masks. And so as your pastor and as a fellow resident of Collin County, I want to ask you, please wear a mask. I know that they can be uncomfortable, especially in the heat of summer. I know this because I've experienced it myself. I know it could feel like it's too hard. But I have appreciated something that the director of the Allen Escadrille, Dr. Philip Abado, often says to his band members: you can do hard things. You can do hard things. And you and I, as people of faith, we know we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Now, I also know that it has been so difficult over these last 4 months to be socially separated, socially distanced. I say all the time, God created us for the purpose of being in relationship with God and with other people, and it's really hard not to be able to be physically together in those relationships for which God created us. It's like something is missing for us. I appreciated something that Diane Baltzell said this evening in our meeting. She said, we need to be physically distanced but socially connected. I really like that because there are many ways, even when we're physically distanced, to be socially connected. There are all those virtual ways that can be so wonderfully helpful. FaceTime and Zoom calls and text messaging and Marco Polo and emails and phone calls. But I also know that they can't substitute. They can't take the place of being with someone. But I think there are safe ways to do that. You can do a porch visit with a neighbor wearing a mask. You can take a walk with a friend wearing a mask. I know that so many of us find that when we are in our sanctuary, worshiping together, we feel that social connection. We feel that connection with God. And I've been so blessed, and I'm so thankful that I have been able to be in that beautiful sacred space every week over these last months with Pastor Jessica and sometimes Pastor Maxie and with the tech team as we produce the live stream worship. But I will tell you, it's not the same without you there. It's just not. And I know that many of you are longing as well to be in that beautiful and sacred space. And so I want you to know that we are developing an opportunity for small groups of people to come into that space for the purpose of prayer and to be refreshed and renewed. And you'll hear more about that next week, about that opportunity. But for now, my friends, as John Wesley called us to, do no harm, do good, and stay in love with God. And please, wear a mask. Shalom.